Yo, buddies, what is up? It's Concert Buddy. Hey, this week's video, a simple one. No pomp, no circumstance, no hootenanny. Just gonna show some records, vinyl finds. Records I've picked up in the last few weeks, unrelated to some of my more recent videos, like the Record Store Road Trip series. Check them out. But there's some stuff I picked up that I'd love to show you, I'm really excited about. So, as the famous Jewish philosopher, one David Lee Roth, once said, ease that seat back, cue the lever. He didn't say that part. Stick around, let's get into it right now. Fun times, buddies. Thanks for sticking around. So before I show you some of these records, these hot, juicy pieces of wax that I've added to my collection recently, I'd like to just throw us out there. I'm going to some record shows coming up in the coming months. And if you're in the area or if you're going to these shows, I think it would be fantastic if we could meet up and just say, hey, high five, whatever your choice greeting is in your repertoire, just to say, hey, I appreciate you watching and let's talk records, right? So first up, I'm going to be at the Austin National Record Show at the end of September. It's roughly the very end of September, and I think it's through the weekend of like October 1st and 2nd. So if you're in the Austin, Texas area, I know I already talked to a couple folks in the VC who are making the pilgrimage or local or what have you. So I'm really looking forward to saying hey to you guys. But please, if you're coming, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to just connect and just say hey. And then the other one, the big one, I've been talking to some other folks in the VC. I think it's going to be a lot of fun if everybody can do it. Chicago, Hillside show. I've talked about it before on the channel. It's probably the biggest show closest to my location here in the Midwest. It's going to be November 20th. It is a Sunday. And I'll leave all the information about these shows if you're curious down below. But I've already talked to some folks who have watched the channel, subscribers, I've subscribed to them, etc. Folks in the VC. And really excited to like meet up, say hey, put a face behind or from behind the camera in person. I think it's going to be a really, really cool thing to connect that way. Anyway, enough of that. You guys are here for the records, right?
You're goddamn right.
The records, let me show you to you right now. All right, so the first record I'm going to show is a record that is a reissue of Charles Mingus, The Jazz Experiments of Charles Mingus. Charlie Mingus, if you know him, right? This was a reissue that came out from Vinyl Me Please. The thing that really drew me in to this record is, if you can see it on camera, look at that luscious purple wax. It matches so well to that front cover. Now, I never heard this before I made the purchase, and I actually missed it the first couple times that Vinyl Me Please had it because it's numbered and limited, right? FOMO, false scarcity situation, because then they magically found some copies later on. But I missed all of those opportunities. Even wrote them and asked, hey, Vinyl Me Please, do you have any more of these?
Hey, there's exceptions.
Nothing. So I had to buy this one on the secondary market. Not too terrible. I bought it from a shop up in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's Portland. They're nice. It's still sealed, so as my new practice now, any sealed records, I ask folks who ship them to me, please open them so we can avoid those stupid seam splits. I hate that. There's nothing worse. Well, there are things worse. But to me, when you're getting that new record, you've been just chasing after for so long, and then it comes to you and it's sealed, but it's got a seam split because it wasn't packed right or because of the material of the jackets, but yada, yada, yada. So anyway, shop was kind enough to do that for me. Vinyl Me Please, to their credit, is really putting out some really stellar stuff lately. I've been a member on and off for, goodness, 4 or 5 years actually now. My wife actually gifted me a 3-month membership years ago to try them out, and I really like the product. My biggest complaint, I guess, when it comes to Vinyl Me Please is the mailers that they use, because the folks who are picking and packing from the warehouse, they're just reading pick tickets. They're not really putting a lot of care into the packaging. They used to be, early on in Vinyl Me Please, at least my early membership, they would give you a little card saying packed with love by Tito or packed with love by Veronica or whoever, right? They don't do that anymore. I think there's no packing with love. They're just hitting widgets. So anyway, if Vinyl Me Please could figure out the mailer situation, like the product they're making, A+. The curation is really strong. They're really working tightly with the record labels to put out some really neat stuff. They're now building their own pressing plant in the Colorado area. So really exciting stuff. They've really grown into a really reputable reissue label with, you know, obviously colored variants and so forth. But those mailers, gosh, if you could give me one wish in the vinyl community this year, it would just snap my fingers and get real mailers. They could be Whiplash, they could be singles with double walls, they could be whatever. Vinyl Me Please, if you're watching this, God love you, please upgrade the mailers. Anyway, happy to add this to my collection. All right, so next up is this Kenny Dorham record that was recently, and I say recently, back I want to say early part of the year, February, March-ish, reissued. It's called Matador. It was reissued by a label called Impacts, and I believe it's in conjunction with, I believe Universal's involved in this. Anyway, again, like the Mingus, is something that I kind of slept on to begin with, and wouldn't you know it, it's limited. It was only numbered to 5,000. Apparently they're going to reissue more, but who knows when that's going to happen.
No, you are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
I've been playing catch up on this one, and of course secondary market prices are just escalators. So been watching this like a hawk for a while because I just knew this patience would pay off. And recently I found somebody on Discogs who was selling their copy at just barely over list. It had been opened, played a few times, shipped it like a champ. It's one of those Discogs success stories that you don't often hear about here lately on Discogs. But anyway, look at this cover. I mean, this is cool as hell, sexy as hell. Beautiful, beautiful. I put this one on when I was working earlier, and it sounds tremendous. I mean, Kenny Dorham, he's probably one of my top 5 trumpet players from that kind of era of jazz. I mean, Lee Morgan's obviously my guy. Miles, I mean, I think Ronnie Hubbard, Donald Byrd. I mean, there's a lot of great trumpet players. Kenny Dorham's right up there with them. But I give Impacts a lot of credit. Not only is this a great reissue, nice stiff cardboard jacket, heavyweight vinyl, sounds, choice, highly happy. Is that right verbiage? Extremely happy to add this to my collection. Buddies, I love showing hip-hop records whenever I can, and this one from House of Pain has been something I've been chasing for years. I'm old enough, when I was coming up as a young G in the country of Cedar Hill, Missouri. If you knew where that was, you'd know that's a joke.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
I had this on tape. Got Everlast here. You've got DJ Lethal here, who later joined Limp Bizkit. I think he's still actively in Limp Bizkit. At least he was last year when we went and saw Limp Bizkit. Yup, saw Limp Bizkit in person. Be jealous or hate, whatever you want to do. Anyway, used to have this tape. This is an original. They reissued it recently, I want to say in the last year or so. I'm sure as a splatter application. I'm sure it's cool, but really trying to chase down OGs when I can. This one is in shrink. Turns out one of my local stores was selling it online, and so I was able to buy it and then go pick it up. I believe the term is BOPUS, buy online, pick up in store. So it saved me a few bucks in shipping and taxes and all that great stuff. This is a nice copy. It's a VG Plus copy. Again, still in shrink. Got a little edge wear around the sides, but it's on that Tommy Boy label. Man, some fresh stuff right there. Tommy Boy. But vinyl's got a little popcorn feel to it, because I mean, some of these older hip-hop records, particularly early 90s, got some love. They got a lot of playback. But anyway, super excited to add this to the collection and the hip-hop stacks of wax. We are rounding third and headed home. 2 more. So this record, Sonic Temple by the Cult, is something that I've always wanted for the collection, but boy, that secondary market price, and even the times that I've found it in the wild, have been north of 50, 60 bucks. So resigned to that price point. It doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So story behind this is real simple. My buddy Matt Sands, you guys know him in the vinyl community. He's one of the guys who inspired me to make these videos. Him and Sam, the psych professor. I mean, they're like some of the best content creators in the vinyl community, like hands down, when they do it, right? Busy guys, got a lot going on. Anyway, Matt, who I've been fortunate enough to befriend over the years, has a shop in Hillsborough, Illinois called the Gold Pan Records, and they recently started selling on Whatnot, that eBay Lite or New Age eBay website app, however you utilize the program, right? Anyway, so when they're premiered on Whatnot, I was in the auction, and what's cool about Whatnot, I'll give a little Whatnot 411, my limited experience, is stores like Matt's, the Gold Pan, like Mike at the In Groove, he's also doing Whatnot, like, there's a couple other shops, but anyway, I won't bore you with that piece. But in advance, you can see, if you kind of bookmark their auctions, you can see what they're going to have available. So then if there's things you like, you can pre-bid on them, you can bookmark them, so you don't have to like live in the auction and tie up 3-4 hours, however long these things go. You'll just get a notification on your phone saying, hey, the item you're looking for is live. Boom, right? But you gotta be near your phone or your device of choice. So with this one, I was on the auction the whole time. When this one popped up, I didn't play around, some back and forth. I think I did go north of 50, but again, support a good buddy, and it's the going rate at a very fair price. Nice, clean as a whistle. Like, Matt knows how to grade records, his shop. They just, check them out, I'm serious. If you can ever be part of these Whatnot auctions, look them up on Whatnot if you can. Check out their Facebook. They're always doing flip videos. I know Matt would be happy to do mail order. Sorry if I'm speaking for you here, Matt. Happy to do mail order if you see something you like. But anyway, love supporting local-ish. Hillsborough is about an hour away from me, but I've been there a few times. Yada, yada, yada. Really fun record. This record is on Sire, and the signature choice cut is Firewoman, man. What a jammer. Like, you could put this on just on loop, especially if I'm going for a run or something. Just crank it, pump up music, nothing better. Just pure, unadulterated rock and roll. Love it. So anyway, happy to add Sonic Temple by The Cult to my collection. All right, last one coming up. All right, for the last record showing on this Vinyl Finds video, first I got to give credit to a channel that taught me about this record, had no idea it existed. The channel is Southern Grails. He runs a really, really cool channel. Picks up some straight up heaters, man. Things that never see in my local area, and things that are in prime condition. So Southern Grails, highly recommend. I'll put comments or information in the below part of this video if you're interested in checking him out. I know he's on Instagram too, but he did a video in the last couple of weeks talking about this record. This is Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers, self-titled. This is on that Gordy label by Barry Gordy Jr. I think he spun it off from Motown, right? And you're like, oh, okay, soul record, late 60s, what's going on? No big deal, right? Well, if you can kind of look, there's a certain someone that was in this band that later achieved fame in a different variety. He was also arrested and put in jail for selling drug paraphernalia in the last couple of years. But anyway, Tommy Chong of the legendary comic duo Cheech and Chong was in this band. Looking kind of like a square, right? Look at this dude, squared it up. But anyway, if you ever watch like Cheech and Chong movies, he could play the guitar, and he really was drawn to music, right? But he was in this band, and I learned this from Southern Grails, finding this record and showing it in this video. So I thought, man, that'd be interesting. I'm curious what they sound like. So not an easy one to track down, but I was able to find a copy. And then I actually, this is how these things work. You never have seen it before. You don't know what it is. And as soon as you start looking for it, you see it once, you see it twice, you see it all over, right? Well, same thing happened here with this record. So I ended up getting 2 copies. So I'm going to probably move one down the road at one of these points. But it's a very interesting soul record. Like, a couple covers on here. Again, put this on in the home office and doing some stuff, and really enjoyed it. I will say that this was the cleaner of the 2 copies I got. So, this pristine. I've already run it, gave it its luscious vinyl bath. But anyway, interesting story, interesting record. Happy to add this one to the collection. And that's all she wrote, buddies. If you guys find anything super awesome lately, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. I sincerely mean that. Interacting with you guys is one of my favorite parts of making these videos. It makes the editing and the goofy jokes and all the other nonsense and chicanery that I put into these roll up into the meatball that is the Concert Buddy video experience. It makes it worthwhile because I really enjoy talking to you guys and learning, exchanging stories, and like I said at the beginning of the video, would love to see you out on the road at these vinyl shows, at these record shows. If you're going to be going anyway, hey, let's connect, let's say hey, let's swap some record stories. It'd be fantastic. So, it's getting late. Gotta put a wrap on this one, guys. Anyway, when you get the chance to watch this video, spin some records, just spin it. See you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.